Hello, welcome to the Debtors Management Information webinar. I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. All businesses need effective fiscal management. This is an important consideration for accountants because fiscal management is a major problem to many SME. Fiscal management covers quite a number of areas, of course, but the one that I want to zero in this conversation is on the management of cash flow and management of skills knowledge relating to debtors management. The CEO of MYOB, Paul Robson, identified many shortcomings by SMEs in their knowledge of fiscal management in an article published in the Financial Review in February this year. He said that they acknowledged that they had very little fiscal management knowledge. They misunderstood suppliers' terms of trade, and they had a lack of knowledge of debtors' system processes. Pretty difficult to run a business if you don't understand some of these matters. Robson identified many shortcomings relating to the debtors component. Many of those businesses did not have an appreciation that they did not have to offer credit facilities to a customer. And they didn't appreciate that many of their potential clients would probably take longer than 30 days to pay them. They'd obviously done whatever cash flow forecast they'd prepared on the basis that every debtor was going to pay within 30 days. Someone forgot to tell them that Australia a few years ago won a dubious international award of having the longest debtors' days outstanding in the world. And I don't think it's improved much. Even though the former Liberal National Party government under Mr. Morrison ordered federal government departments to make payments to SMEs within 30 days. And subsequently, the Albanese government made further changes to publicly embarrass large companies that don't pay their SME clients within 30 days. And there were discussions with state treasurers about state government agencies making payments within 30 days. There still appears to be a lot of problems because debtors' days outstanding are well above 30 days. For many of these SME clients that MYOB surveyed, they had very limited systems had been introduced by them for the control of debtors. So what's your role as an accountant or a bookkeeper or a business advisor if you're helping SME clients to ensure that an adequate debtors system has been introduced? It'd be great if we could ignore it because everything was cash sales, and some businesses that is the case, of course. But for many, credit processes are required if they're going to make sales. Negotiating and understanding with your client as to whether the client's team will undertake training to be supplied by your firm so that they become experts in debtors management is one option you can look at. But I think a few of you might have been frowning as I said that, because a lot of your clients will not have those type of people employed that could effectively manage the debtors without your assistance. Or you could indicate that your firm will implement the debtors management system and monitor the preparation of data relating to debtors management. Or you could offer a mix of both, which is probably the best way to achieve it. That some of the work is performed, of course, by the client's team, but that you train and mentor those people and show them where this all fits into the overall business equation. So they have an appreciation of how important their role is. And it is important. Debtors is a significant figure in balance sheets. And sometimes, whether it's all going to be realised or not, is dependent on the overall system that's operating around this question of credit sales and debtors. So implementing a debtors systems management system, you need to utilise a SME needs analysis to gain an understanding of the leadership teams or your clients' knowledge of a debtors system. What's their understanding? They got any understanding of how it's all put together? And we have a debtor systems review within the package which we supply, which will help you gain an understanding of the persons directly responsible for debtors management, what their knowledge is of the system. Do they understand how it all works? Or do they need some training themselves so that the system will work better? So the briefing material that we have included within ESS BIZTOOLS is for discussions with your team to ensure that a thorough review is undertaken. So what's the debtors systems, forms and documents? What systems are currently operating? What happens with directors' personal guarantees? Are they obtaining them, first of all? Are they checking that they've been signed and dated and they're a legal document? And are they appropriately filed? So in the unfortunate circumstances that they may be required in 4 or 5 years' time, they will be available. So what's the debtor statement policy? Is this client going to issue statements? And if so, what's the tolerance for the dispatch of those statements? Is it 24 hours after the end of the month? Because in some cases you'll find it's 2 to 3 weeks later. So there's little wonder that there are long debtors' days outstanding when that's occurring, because the customer has probably already paid their prompt payments for that month. So they just let it all sit for another month. So your client potentially floats into at least a 60-day overdue account because they were late in getting the debtor statements. But is it better not to issue debtor statements and to indicate on every tax invoice that payment must be made on the invoice and indicate the payment date, depending on the credit arrangements that have been issued? If it's 30 days, we'll calculate what the date will be in 30 days' time and make sure that is clearly identified on the statement. Sorry, on the invoice. With statements on the brain. And then include in your engagement letter with the client and this, to go to the new customer, that debtor statements won't be issued. They pay on invoice. Many businesses have found that this improves the payment process, because if you're issuing statements, it's logical that the customer sits back and waits for those statements to turn up. And if they're 2 to 3 weeks late, well, that's the first time they're going to start processing the payment of that account. So who monitors debtors? Who's checking to see whether Bill Bloggs is paid today? Who's going to follow up to remind them that they haven't paid? Is there a system that's been implemented to make phone calls 3 or 4 days before the due date for payment of an invoice, politely reminding the customer that payment of that invoice is going to be due in 3 to 4 days' time? So this gets back to the overall question: is there a system? So within the system that we have available to assist you to deliver these types of services to your clients, There is a debtors management system introduction checklist. There are online debt management systems available. Is there a formal approach to a new applicant to be a credit customer that they complete an application to obtain credit form and that is checked? One of the big worries many businesses have got, of course, and if they think about it, is they don't want to get their competitors problems. So if someone's decided that they should take their business elsewhere because the current business that they are dealing with is getting a bit upset about their payment habits and that their debtors days outstandings over 60 days, and they've then decided to go off and try and get another supplier, all that your client's going to get is inheriting someone else's problem. So who does the checklist? Checks around on the credit references that have been provided. Who approves a prospective customer? Is that approved by the person that's looking after the debtor system? Or does it go to the management level? And the management person doesn't just sign the authority, but they check that the due diligence reviews have been completed by checking the form. And is there a welcome to new customer letter? I think this is very important because it allows your client to confirm to their new customer that they're going to open a credit account for them, what the terms of trade are, what other documentation is required, if any, the procedures if they're going to be registering that customer on the personal property securities register. But it's also a welcome to a new customer. It's giving them some promotional information about the business, telling them who the salesperson that's been allocated to their account is, and making sure that the copy of this letter has gone to the salesperson so that he or she can send a welcome message of their own to the new customer. So this welcome to new customer letter should not just be a debtors management type letter. It should be a letter that identifies that the team of the business is interested in servicing the new customer's requirements. And particular note is made of any requests that the new customer's made. It might be that with every invoice that they receive, they require some additional documentation. That could be a weighbridge certificate in some instances. It may be a health certificate in others. Whatever it is, it should be clearly noted and ensured that that document is attached to the tax invoice. Because this is one of the reasons why debtors' days outstanding climb up, because those requests are not fulfilled. And the customer says, well, we're not making payment until we get all the documentation we wanted. Another very big problem is that many larger companies specify that the invoices for the previous month must be received by them by the 8th day or the 10th day of the next month. And that's about as far as they go, 8, 9, 10 days after the end of the month. They're saying that should be enough time for you to get your invoices and associated paperwork through to us. And if we do that, we will prepare payment of that invoice in that current payment cycle. And if you don't do that, it will go into the next month's payment cycle. And that immediately puts 30 days onto the debtors' days outstanding figure. And this can cause significant cash flow difficulties for the business. Within the system, there's debtors monitoring, debt recovery letters, debtors' days outstanding calculation, a very important figure. It should be calculated at least every month and communicated to the leadership team. And then a meeting should be held to decide who's going to contact the customers that are overdue in their payments. And from this, we have what we call a debtors reduction checklist that can be prepared in conjunction with the leadership team. And that is basically who's going to contact who, and is someone going to go around and pick up the check? Or have they undertaken that the money will be transferred direct into the business's bank account this afternoon? There needs to be protection against liquidators' preferential payment claims, which can come out of the Personal Property Securities Register legislation. We have material on that within the system so that the person in charge of debtors and management should have an appreciation of what's involved to make sure that you're not going to get caught up, or your client's not going to get caught up in a preferential payment claim. So clients need an awareness of all this, because otherwise that figure they got in their balance sheet, whatever it is, 20,000, 40,000, 100,000, if owing by debtors, can be in some jeopardy. They will never get all that amount of money. It will be a bad debt. So what I'm going to do now is visit our website and give you an overview of what's within the debtors management system. So on the left-hand side of our website is subscribed content. This is the main content included within ESS BIZTOOLS. There's about 35 major product packages. And on the side here, these boxes represent all of these packages, and they vary depending on what subscription level that our subscribers are operating on. So what we have there now is the financial forecasting package. It includes everything that we have. The package below that is the advanced package. And the package below that is the starter package. So you can see that's getting smaller. And then we have the very beginning advisory intro package. So if we come back to the financial forecasting package, we're seeking debtors management. We've gone on to it now. There's briefing videos there for our subscribers. So we're in the subscriber section of ESS BIZTOOLS. And we're going to download the content. So this is what you could do as a subscriber. You would have access 24/7 once you become a subscriber. And we're now gone to debtors management. We have a document called the procedure control form. Now, the procedure control form, we have one of these for each of those 35 product packages, and it guides you through the process so that you can work your way through the system to understand how everything works. So in the first instance, we have a paper. We have a paper in every system, which basically tells you how all this operates. So this is the debtors management part. Now, this is a paper written for you to guide you through the process. It's only a short paper, this one, 5 pages. Some are a lot longer than that. But it looks at the outcome of a one-on-one meeting. This is where you normally get an indication your client's got some problems. You've sat down and worked through the SME needs analysis, which we've prepared, which has got a number of discussion points. And obviously, one of the key discussion points is how are credit sales going? How's the debtors management going? What's your bad debts? These type of questions. So out of it, the clients might have said to you, well, can you have a review of our credit management and debtors system and see what we're doing wrong? So this is a document which alerts you to what's included in debtors management evaluation. It refers to the comments of Paul Robson, the CEO of MYOB that I discussed earlier. And all these items here in brackets are forms that you can click on to read. So AM is Accountant's Minute. We produce that once, sometimes twice a week, depending on issues. And we had articles in there on debtors management. We've got reference to BAS forms. That is the forms we're prepared as an integral part of the debtors management system that you can click to and read. And I'm going to show you some of those in a moment. So this is your guidance document in conjunction with the overall form that I just showed you. So we'll move back out of there, and then we'll go back to the procedure control form, which is this document here. And I want to just show you a couple of other things. So we suggest you have a work program. There, you can log on to those. There's a proposed letter you can send to your client, or you can draft your own, of course. And we have other forms there on debtors management, evaluation, etc. Now, the debtors review questionnaire was referred to a little bit earlier. So this is the document here. So this is the questionnaire you would sit down and talk to your client about. How much is owed by the debtors? What are the debtors' days outstanding? You might find your client doesn't know some of this information. You'd get a dissection of the debtors' aged analysis. And again, that information might not be readily available, but you might have to sit down and work it out. What's been the position on bad debts? Because in some instances, you might not be aware of the bad debts if you've just been doing the tax return, because the client mightn't have bothered to tell you because everything's getting lodged on a catch basis. Do you request prospective customers to complete a credit application form? You need to find that out. Our recommendation is that your client should be getting a credit application form. Does someone contact the referees to determine the credit worthiness of the applicant? Or is your client inheriting someone else's problem? Does the person authorising the opening check with mercantile agencies, Dun & Bradstreet, etc.? Does the system require the customer to specify right from day one what their special requirements are? That's what I was referring to earlier. Weighbridge certificates, health certificates, invoices to be submitted by the 8th day of the following month, or whatever. All should be documented. Did you get a director's guarantee if it's a company making an application? Are the director's guarantees filed in a long-term file, not to be destroyed in 3 years' time? And if you're not getting director's guarantees, do you say to the client, well, we think you should? And do they agree to that? Who's going to be responsible for the maintenance of those director's guarantee files? You've got to make sure they don't get destroyed, burnt in a cleanup every 4 years. Are the payment arrangements and the credit arrangements confirmed in writing? Do you issue a welcome to new customer letter? And so it goes on. So I'm just going to move on, and we will look at another form in a moment as we go through this system. So we then start talking about the briefing material. And we have a form there for director's guarantee, statement policy. And I'm just Looking through to pick up some particular forms that I wanted to show to you. We've got a form here on the Debtors Management. So who's going to be undertaking this review? This is your team working through. How do they try and spot problem debtors early? Is there communications with debtors underpayment is received? This is this making phone calls 3 or 4 days before the due date of a tax invoice. Who reviews the debtors analysis? Who calculates debtors days outstanding? These are the type of systems that you need to be able to see that have been implemented. And then we've got comments on procedures for effective debtors management. And look out for some of the warnings. Successful debt management. As you can see, there's a whole range of forms being shown that all apply to different aspects of this overall system. And we've got follow-up letters, etc. Now, there are a couple of other things that I just want to go back to, a couple of other forms. So I'm going to go back to this overall list, which is a little bit easier for me to find these and going through that detailed documentation. So this is the application to open an account, a form that the sales person would hand to the prospective new credit customer and saying, well, the office require you to complete this form. Can you please complete it and bring it back to me? And you will then go through the process and you'll be informed as to whether an account's going to be offered to you. Because this is a privilege to be receiving this account. And one of the problems that a lot of our SME clients have is they don't implement a due diligence checklist. An application's been received. What checking do they then make? What type of entity is it? Where are they? What is it? Did we get any trade references? Did we get the director's guarantees if they're a company? We got the driver's license details. What's the risk assessment? Do we think there's a problem with this particular person applying for credit? Trade references should be contacted. So hopefully that type of form will assist you in advising your clients. And one of the other ones that I want to show you is the Welcome to New Customer letter. I think this is a very important document. So this is a cut for a customer that you're providing products on a retention of title basis. Which is bringing into play the Personal Property Securities Register. So you've got the opportunity of confirming your payment terms and your credit limit and confirming whatever requests that the prospective new customer has made for things like weighbridge certificates and health certificates and invoices to be lodged with them 8, 9, 10 days after the end of the month and so on. But also it's the opportunity to introduce the sales team and to alert the sales department to make a follow-up call, visit to this new customer. So that's an overview of what we are looking at in all of this to ensure that your clients are getting a great system. So the ESS BIZTOOLS management system relating to debtors, we think that this process is what you need to be using. If you've already got a similar system, good. But if you haven't, this is a package that you can subscribe to. You can use this with as many clients as you wish. I estimate that fees could be earned from this work of $1,000 to $1,500 to sit down and go through and undertake that sort of evaluation with your clients. Could earn you those fees per client. And obviously you can use this package with as many clients as you wish over the year. We have a special promotion on which we're calling BizAid because we acknowledge there's a lot of problems out there in small business land. And there's a lot of spin-off on that to accountancy and bookkeeping firms. I know that. So what we've decided to do is to discount our individual product components. One of them is Debtors Management, to encourage you to subscribe because we think we're going to be giving it to you at a lower price so that you will be able to offer those services to your clients and help them, because each of these product components are items which I honestly believe, based on my experience as a senior partner of an accounting firm, chief financial officer and company secretary of a listed public company, and a business advisor to a major Australian government program called COMET, Commercialising Emerging Technology, that I undertook for 12 years, that assisted companies to get themselves ready for investment if they were involved in technology or innovation. So I am proud to be able to offer you this product. You can obtain everything that I just went through and more. You saw there was more information there. For $150 plus GST, so $165 will give you the subscription 24/7 for 12 months use. And you can renew again in 12 months' time, of course. And there's no limit to the number of customers that you can utilize this product with. So how many clients do you have with a debtor system? How effective is it? Can it do with some improvement? What's your rate of return? Do you have 10 clients that you could earn X dollars from? Your subscription's $150 for the year. So if you're ready to take action, you'd like to do this, you can go to our website, please, www.essbiztools.com.au, click on packages and pricing, and then click on the individual products that will come up, Debtors Management System, and then you can complete the subscription order form, which will show you that you're getting a 50% discount on the price that we normally list this standalone component. It's normally listed at $300. We're offering it to you as part of our Black Friday promotion for $150. If you need more information, please send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and I'll respond to your questions. Or you could telephone me, 074724 118. And if you need to, I will have a complimentary Zoom meeting with you. So thank you very much for your interest in viewing the BizAid by ESS BizTools promotion for Debtors Management. We look forward to hearing from you. Stay safe. Have a great day. Goodbye.